begin with an opening statement from Coach Childress.
Wow, I mean, what an incredibly hard-fought win. I mean, it's a heavyweight fight, two really good teams going at each other. Almost a tale of 3 games. We were very, very good in every facet for the first 5 innings, and Ollinger is just as good as advertised. Very competitive kid, kept them in the game, wasn't going to let the ball be taken from him, and you know, they made their way back. We provided some opportunities for them. They capitalized, and then both bullpens were marvelous. Mitchell Kilkenny gave us a chance. Their guy gave them a chance, and George Janca ends up being the hero in the 15th. Just a lot of heroes for us all day long from a defensive standpoint on the mound, offensively. Very fortunate to win the game today.
Questions, please.
George, can you take us through that last AB from your perspective?
It was just all about moving the line along. I mean, I understand that point. It's a ball in play is going to move the runner, and we had been kind of struggling the later part of the game, driving people in. We were always setting them up, and we were always right there on base, moving them over. But I just happened to be up in the situation and got through, and it was good for us because we had great at bats all day long, and we just couldn't quite break through with runners in scoring position. But finally, we did there in the 15th, and it was only set up by Mitchell, who came in and did an incredible job. Gave us probably his longest outing in 2 years here, and it was a heck of a job by him.
George, how much, I think it was the 11th inning where you had a chance in a similar situation. How much were you thinking about that in the 15th and just coming through there?
Well, I just kind of learned from him because I faced, it was the same guy, and kind of had a better idea how he was going to pitch me, and we just talked about as a team just not being too big for the moment, just work on getting backside singles and setting innings up, and we started to do that, and the barrel started to come after that.
Coach, what was your message to the players after the game?
Well, we haven't done anything yet. I mean, congrats on the win. It was a hard-fought win, but it's all about the finish. Make sure you get unwound tonight, get to bed, and come out ready to go tomorrow.
Mitchell, when you came to the ballpark today, did you have a sense that you might get stretched out like this? Were you mentally prepared to throw 102 pitches?
Absolutely not. Usually I just come off, waiting for my chance to do my job and let the team take care of the rest, and that's exactly what happened.
Did you feel good in the bullpen going in? I mean, I don't think you've thrown in 17 days. Can you take us through that?
It's funny that you say that. That may have been the worst bullpen I've ever thrown. And so coming into the game, I was a little bit nervous, but it ended up working out.
What was bad about it?
I was just having a hard time locating, but once I got on the mound, I zoned in, just throwing everything that he asked.
When you're throwing that many innings, do you have to change your approach at all as far as, I guess, maybe conserving some energy, taking off on some pitches, things like that?
I find the less I think, the better I do, in most cases at least.
How much was that low fastball really helping you out?
A lot. I mean, they weren't seeing it for some reason. They were a bunch of great hitters, but I got by on a bunch of calls, and I'm just happy about that.
Rob, was it desperation, or what was it about where you were in the course of the game and who you had left while you went with Mitch?
Well, he was the next guy up, and we go through a regional last week. We only used 5 guys. Our message early this week was, we're not going to do that again this weekend. You guys need to make sure your preparation matches last week, and when we hand you the ball, make sure you're ready to go. And certainly Mitch was ready to go today.
Coach, how great was that crowd tonight? Coach, sorry, how great was the crowd?
It was fabulous. I mean, you think about it, 2 o'clock on a Friday, playing a super regional for a fight to go to Omaha, and to have 7,000 people here. Couldn't be more proud of the 12th man.
You really could. I mean, I assume that you'd agree you could not ask for more from your bullpen what you've gotten just in the postseason. No,
certainly not. We wouldn't be here today if it weren't for them, and what they've been willing to do for us on the mound. Those guys have pitched a lot of big innings for us and gotten us out a lot of jams and given us a chance.
It's funny because there was a time in this season where that was an area of concern.
Well, that's the pitching coach's fault, and it comes down to getting these guys in the right places to be successful, and I think it only took me 6 weeks to figure that out. So don't blame them. That's on me.
Mitchell, was there a time where you actually did feel like you settled in and got comfortable? Was it during warm-ups out there or somewhere in the course of that first inning?
I'd say once the umpires started giving me the outer half, I had a lot more confidence going into it.
But when was that? Do you remember? Was it in the first inning you were in there?
Honestly, I don't remember.
42. How many times in your life have you been asked to bunt And when you got down 0-2, could you take us through the rest of your AB?
This year I think 6 so far. Before that I can't remember, but I knew once I did that I wasn't going to let my team down. I mean, my job was to move the guy, and I was going to do whatever it takes. I wasn't going to be denied. So whether that was, competing with 2 strikes already on me, so I was just going to do whatever it took.
Hunter, from your perspective, what did you see from Mitchell? What was he doing that was so effective?
Just dominating their guys. I mean, he was throwing a fastball and they weren't hitting it, and then once they thought his fastball was coming, he would break them off with a breaking ball, and just absolute dominance. Gave us a chance when we weren't scoring runs late in the game.
You all feel like you might have had the feeling that y'all had the game under control and you had up 6-0?
I think that's where we kind of get ourselves in trouble too, because we had a couple innings there where our at bats kind of fell off the table and they weren't as good as they needed to be. And when you have that, you give a team like that to climb back in the game and tie it up. And I think that's our goal going into tomorrow, is to play 9 innings of ball, have a great intent from pitch number 1 to that end of the game.
Further questions?
For all 3 players, how do you turn the page after such an intense win like that? Everything pretty much on the line from all 3 guys.
Like Coach said, we haven't done anything yet, so we got to come out tomorrow and play our type of game, play our brand of baseball.
Wind down, go home, kind of not think about it for a little bit, maybe play some Call of Duty or something. Kind of unwind from it, get our minds clear, and come back tomorrow with the same purpose, to get a W.
Coach, how good's Pennington been for you lately, especially today?
Well, he was fabulous. Had 4 hits today, played great defense, and that's what you need out of your seniors this time of year. Certainly so. Nick Jorby had a great day for us, and Austin Holman did too when it mattered most.
Time for a couple more.
How big was it when Doc Zakis came in? Talk about his performance.
It was gigantic. Mitchell had emptied the tank and then some for us, and he had gotten him out to get off the field a couple innings before, and just felt like it was time to go match up there with Cam. He's such a good hitter. He's got a good approach, and to me, he's the one that you've got to try to control, and that was the spot. Mitchell had done his job, and very proud of John Doxakis for getting us off the field there in that spot.
Anything further? All right, gentlemen.